This edition of MacVoices is supported by MacVoices magazine, our free Flipboard magazine that brings you some of the best Mac, iPhone, and iPad productivity tips on the web. High in signal, low in noise, just like MacVoices, MacVoices magazine includes information on how you can get more out of your Apple technology. Subscribe at macvoices.com/magazine or search for MacVoices magazine in Flipboard on your iPad or iPhone. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the Talk of the Mac community. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, I get the pleasure this time of talking to Philip Goward of Smile. He is here to talk about the newest version of their product, PDFpen. Philip, it's great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Chuck. It's a pleasure to be here.
Philip, let's just get it out of the way right up front. Smile helps sponsor the show, and I always appreciate it. And in fact, you're our longest running sponsor, so I thank you for that. But that's not why you're here. You're here because you guys make such cool software. You make software that I use constantly, day in, day out. And now I'm excited to talk about this new version of PDFpen.
Yeah, we just released yesterday PDFpen for iPad and iPhone version 2.
You guys don't usually do version numbers very often, so I'm getting the impression that this is kind of a big update.
Yeah, it's a huge update. It's iOS 8 only, and it's also universal, whereas the previous version was separate for iPad and iPhone. This is all one product. We've done a major user interface redesign of the product, which has been a wonderful challenge because our focus has been to really reduce the steps you need to take to do any of the editing or markup in a PDF. So it takes less time to use, it's more fluid, it's very smooth to work with. And the other aspect of that is we've bundled in a load more professional features into the product, and we've still managed to keep the user interface looking simple despite adding a lot to it.
So let's just, before we dive into what's new and all, let's just talk about a little bit about what PDFpen is and what it brings to the iPhone and iPad.
PDFpen is a general purpose PDF editor. So at the very basic, you could open a PDF and read it, but you can also mark up a PDF for feedback to somebody else. You can sign a form that comes in. You can edit text within a PDF. So you've got a contract and you don't like the terms, you can change them directly.
Check with your lawyer first. So yeah, and it's when you all brought this out for iOS, it was such a big deal because now we could do everything that we could do with PDFpen on the Mac, or pretty much everything, for the iPhone and iPad. And of course, as we all try to slide those devices more into our productivity lifestyle, this was a huge boon. So what have you done other than, as you said, the user interface enhancements to make this worthy of a full point upgrade?
Well, part of it is a huge visual overhaul in the product. The previous one was written with iOS 6 in mind originally, and while it functioned on iOS 8, it didn't look quite as pretty as we wanted, so we've rewritten the whole interface, and so it slots in really beautifully the current operating system. We have also added in some really great features like palm protection in the application, so if you're one who uses a pen, you can write on your tablet directly. You can even rest on it because of the palm protection.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm not one that writes on it because then nothing would ever recognize it. But that is not a small feature to implement. Since
no, it's not a small feature, especially as we also support several of the pressure-sensitive Bluetooth pens as well in the product. And so they have their own palm protection. So we offer the best of all of these worlds in one package.
How has iOS 8 and its capabilities affected PDFpen?
Well, one of the major areas is the addition of iCloud Drive in iOS 8. So PDFpen 2 supports iCloud Drive. You can import and export to and from it. And prior to that, it was necessary to build in different import and export services in the product, and many we still have built in, But if, for example, you want to import and export to a file service that PDFpen doesn't have access to directly, you may be able to just do that directly through iCloud Drive and the use of another app within the product. So that's really very cool.
And you say other services, we're talking about things like Dropbox, SugarSync, those kind of things.
All of those things. Like, we never had support for SugarSync in PDFpen 1, and now in PDFpen 2, we feel, well, we don't really have to, because Apple, through iCloud Drive and SugarSync, by revising their app, have made that possible.
iCloud Drive seems to have gotten a little bit of a bad rap right out of the gate because of the implementation of iOS versus Yosemite. And so I think a lot of people have been just a little hesitant about flipping it on.
Mm-hmm.
This would just seem to be one more case for turning it on to get yet another enhanced feature of a product like PDFpen.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yes, I think the transitioning of iCloud Drive has not been as smooth as anybody would want, especially if you have devices which are still on older operating systems. But I think that is now really smoothing out well, and there are many advantages to using it as vendors have made apps that support it and offer the file services direct from those apps too.
Philip, I think at the top you said that this is iOS 8 only. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Any compromises that you had to do to decide to just make this iOS 8, or is this a case of we want to move forward with iOS and this is the best way to do it?
Well, I think it's more the latter. We definitely want to move forward and stay modern. And part of building an app that supports multiple OSs is it adds the complexity, it adds the testing. So for us, we felt, since we already had an app that really works well on iOS 7, that just writing an iOS 8 app only was a good way to go. And you can still buy the older version of a product if you have iOS 7. In fact, we even sell a pack of both. So if you have iOS 7 and iOS 8 devices, then you can get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it feels like this is something that more developers are having to make a bit of a choice about, as you said, because of the complexity. And they are choosing to say, okay, we're going to move ahead. It's not that they want to leave users behind, but hopefully, if they've done their job like you all have, they have a perfectly reasonable functioning version of the product for the lesser OS or lower level OS. But then you can move up and take advantage of all the new features and the capabilities. And of course, the fact that iOS 8 adoption seems to be pretty high doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt either. Although we know it's been slower than the iOS 7 adoption because Apple have released those figures. And I think it's a little more than half of the devices now using iOS 8. But that's still a lot of people who aren't on iOS 8. So I am glad we still able to sell the older product in the app stores so iOS 7 people aren't left behind.
Yeah, I talk to people who say, well, I'll get around to it. And I think it's going to be situations like this where apps like PDFpen and some others that many of us consider essential sort of drag people forward into the iOS 8 architecture. That it's time to do it. It doesn't cost
definitely
anything.
It's time.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth dragging into iOS 8 for. I mean, the advantages are wonderful, and I think the look and feel and especially with PDFpen 2, I mean, it's well worth it, and it's really a beautiful major upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I think people are wise to wait a week, 2 weeks. You know, we've talked about that so much. Sometimes the early adopters are the ones that get the arrows in the chest. But now we're well into the point that it's safe, it's stable, it's secure. Go for it. And now you're going to have a whole lot of new apps that are iOS 8 only to take advantage of.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I think some of the nice features which have been enabled in iOS 8 for us, I mean, beyond iCloud Drive, we've been able to take advantage of things like AirDrop, which is really beautiful. And also, we've supported the screen sizes of the new iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, which of course you can't easily do in iOS 7. You have to be iOS 8 for that. And the 6 Plus is a really beautiful device for PDFpen. I mean, it's a nice big screen. It's great for working with PDFs. And so it just makes it a a beautiful product on that platform.
That's something I did want to ask you about. The idea that now we have a lot more screen sizes for you to develop for.
Mm-hmm.
Has iOS kind of risen to that challenge and makes it easier, or do you have to jump through a lot more hoops to address all those different screen sizes?
We don't have to jump through too many hoops to address the screen sizes in the product because of the way the product is built. We supported iPhone before, so it's natural to be able to have one binary work on all platforms for us. I mean, some of the major things which are difficult, I think, as developers and all developers face with the multiple screen sizes is when it comes to building App Store listings. The amount of work involved is greater because more screenshots for all the different sizes are required. So those are the things that take a time, not so much the software development process.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. Do you have any compromises? Do you have any adjustments that had to be made as you work down to, say, an iPhone 6 screen size, as opposed to being able to do more or revising the interface when you went to, say, an iPad Air? Is it basically the same interface, just shrunk down, or do you add some enhancements as you get more space to work with?
Well, there's some significant differences. As soon as you end up with a smaller menu bar, we can't have as many tools across it. So we automatically make some of the tools come up in pop-up menus instead because of the lack of screen space, but that's worked pretty well for our product. Other aspects of the screen size are things like pop-up palettes, color choices, and stuff like that. When you don't have much vertical space, like an iPhone 5 or a 4S, then you really have some work to do in terms of making those scroll, whereas in fact on maybe an iPad Air, they don't have to scroll. So those are the kinds of things which you have to work out.
I think it's been very interesting to watch developers. Some shift the whole interface completely. Some tweak it. Some compromise. It's an interesting challenge. And I don't know what. I'm not sure there is a right answer for the particular application. But
yes,
I can think of a couple that they look totally different on an iPad, but that's not a bad thing. It's just that it works better for that large screen.
And I think the interesting compromise device really is the iPhone 6 Plus, because to me, an interface that looks more like an iPad often works better on it than one that looks more like that of a very small phone. And so that it's an interesting device. I mean, I almost think of it as an iPad than an iPhone.
Yeah, you're not the first to say that. So with this version, we still have all the capabilities we've had before. We can convert to Microsoft Word format, to doc format. We can do everything that we've done in the past.
Well, those were the features of a Mac product, so that's a little bit different. So no, you can't convert to Microsoft Word. Our Mac products still obviously do that, but PDFpen 2 has all of the same feature set of PDFpen 1, except for some import-export services where we're able to take advantage of iCloud Drive instead, and that's a better way to do it. Some of the new features are really to add some professional feature comparity with PDFpen on Mac, and those include the advanced page numbering capabilities like Bates numbering, which is great if you're in the legal profession. We also added full password security for the files, and does up to 256-bit encryption. So those are some very nice power user features.
Yeah, very definitely. And in a world that's more and more security minded, that's definitely a nice feature to have on my phone or my iPad.
Absolutely. And you can do stamps. Also, there's a feature which we've had in the Mac product for a while, but we've really rounded out the feature set of the iPad iPhone product a lot.
I'd explain the stamps feature, please.
Like if you were going to add a little arrow area which said sign here, stuff like that, all of those are stamps. Or draft, private, secret.
Oh, okay. So literally a stamp feature. Got it.
Yeah, literally a stamp.
So and that is now included in the new PDFpen 2.
Yep, that's correct.
Great. Yeah, that's also a very nice thing to be able to drop those on.
It is.
So I got to ask, everybody does, what's the pricing situation, or what's the upgrade path, or is there one?
That's a very good question. PDFpen 2, if you're buying it totally from scratch, is $19.99. And if you want to upgrade actually, I'll reword that. If you have a prior version of PDFpen 1, then you can upgrade by purchasing the productivity a bundle of the prior product with the new PDFpen 2. And bundles in the App Store, interesting. They're pretty new, and this is the first time we've used them. But by using a bundle, if you have the prior product in the bundle, then you can complete your bundle for the difference in price. So, for example, a bundle of PDFpen 2 with PDFpen for iPad 1 costs $21.99. And so if you already had PDFpen 1 and you paid $14.99 for it, your complete bundle price would be only $7. So effectively, you can upgrade from the older version for $7. It's complicated, isn't it?
Well, it's complicated a little bit, and I want to continue with that, but this is something I think that's a little new, to use a bundle in this fashion, because we've often talked about it here on the show that Apple really hasn't provided for a paid upgrade path. So this is a way to do it.
This is a great way to do it. And so far, it's working very well for us. And obviously, I've only been using it for a day this way. And I think customers are getting used to that as an option. I'm very grateful to Apple for making this a possibility now, because otherwise doing an upgrade was really down to doing product sales for periods of time for everybody rather than just rewarding existing customers. And so it's really a great approach.
So since this is such a new thing, let's walk through it for a second. Let's say that I have PDFpen for my iPhone, and I log into the App Store, and I want to get the new PDFpen 2. What does it look like, and how do I go about, or am I automatically confirmed that I'm a previous owner of the first version?
What you would do is look for the PDFpen 2 bundles, and there is a PDFpen 2 iPhone pack, which is the one you want to look for, and that bundle contains PDFpen 1 for iPhone and PDFpen 2. And so you go to purchase that, and it would automatically know that you had owned the prior version, the PDFpen 1, and then offer you just the difference in price. The difference in price is very interesting, because if you had purchased previously on a sale, then Apple actually does not use the full retail price for product. It actually uses the price of the previous product that you paid. So let's say there was a magic sale where you purchased for $1. I don't think we ever did that for PDFpen for iPhone, but let's say that had existed, then your upgrade price could be more than just buying it on its own. So those are things to be aware of as a customer.
Okay, I'm very glad you said that, because you're right. Sooner or later, someone's going to email us and say, you said, and that's not what it is. And okay, that explains it. But PDFpen 2 is a universal app. So regardless of which one I had, now I can go and get the new one, and it works on both.
Correct. It works on both. So you just buy it once, and you've got it for all of your iDevices.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. It does get a little complex, but that's nice to know. And again, it's a nice way to do it. And folks, don't grouse, please, about the pricing of these things. This is great software. You got to support the people that make it, so they continue to make more great software. So if you got a deal on it before, good for you. You've been able to use it and benefit from it all this time. Now you may have to pay a little bit more for the upgrade, but you're still going to get the value. No question.
Oh, definitely. And I think we've added so much value into the product and put so much energy into it. I feel that anybody who purchases it will probably be thrilled. I hope so anyway.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised, because I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it and doing some things that up till now, maybe I haven't done with PDFs on my iDevices. So, did we miss any feature sets or anything that folks need to know about moving to the new version?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's obviously a lot more features in the product than we talked about, but a lot of them are wonderful usability esoterics. But I recommend watching a video on the product and checking it out, and hopefully everyone loves it.
Great. Again, on the upgrade thing, let's help people walk through it. If I have PDFpen, now this time I'll say on my iPad, and I get the new version, does the new version replace my old one? Do I end up with 2 copies of the app on my device? You
end up with 2 copies. Ultimately, we recommend that you would delete the older copy. But actually, there's an advantage to having both copies briefly, because one thing that PDFpen 2 does is automatically transition your files out of version 1 into the new version. So it's good to have 2 copies initially. It'll copy your files over when you launch it. And then after that, you'll be able to remove the old version.
You read my mind. That was the next question. When I go to delete version 1, am I risking anything by doing that? Will it delete files? But I think you just said it's already copied them over to version 2 if you've launched it.
Right. If you had iCloud turned on in version 1, then obviously your files are in iCloud, and in version 2 you turn on iCloud and you'll see your files in iCloud. So actually that's a very easy transition. You won't lose anything. But if you didn't use iCloud in version 1 and had iCloud turned off, then you will want to let the product transition the files for you. Otherwise, if you erase version 1, its files go with it.
This is an interesting discussion. This is a place where we really haven't been that often before, with
right.
Upgrading versions, having 2 versions on the device. So many of the apps, I think, just a couple have gone down this path, not exactly this way. And so you may not have to worry about some of it because they just both reach in and grab the same files. But that's really good. That I'm glad we talked about that, because I could see easily having made that mistake and then wanting to kill somebody.
I mean, I think that's a very different thing on iOS versus your Mac, in that your files are really sitting in with the application. So you delete an application, your files go, unless they're stored in the cloud.
Well, I guess we send folks to smilesoftware.com to learn more about it, or they can just go straight to the App Store and buy it.
That's correct.
Simple.
It's in both places. On smilesoftware.com, we have all of the feature set listed and the videos, a little bit of an overview. So there's a bunch of information about it. And as always, write to us at support, and we're happy to answer anyone's questions.
Great. And there are 1 or 2 other Smile products there that you should take a look at, folks. 1 or 2. That I'm constantly telling you about, and I'm happy to, because they're great products. Philip, it's great to see you. Thanks for stopping by and giving us the heads up on this. I think this was very beneficial, especially for someone who wants to go through that upgrade process in understanding why they'll see the pricing and how to go about accomplishing the transition.
Smile. Thanks so much, Chuck.
We'll do it again.
We will. I look forward to it.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. Please check our show notes. We'll have links to smilesoftware.com so you can go and find out about this more, and of course to go straight to the App Store and buy the new version of PDFpen. Until the next time, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for links, show notes, to subscribe, to connect with Chuck on Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and the MacVoices blog. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, the MacVoices Dispatch, to stay up to date on all the latest MacVoices news from our front page or at macvoices.com/newsletter. Do more with your Apple tech by subscribing to the free MacVoices magazine on Flipboard by visiting macvoices.com/magazine. Advertising and sponsorships handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CashFly at cashfly.com.